What's cracking, guys? It's TogaPlays here, coming at you with a brand new video. Now, this is a Pokemon Top 5, something new to my channel. It's my first one I've ever done on the entire channel, and it's just going to be an exciting thing. This week, it's Top 5 Things I Do Not Want in Pokemon Sun and Moon, the new 7th generation of Pokemon games. We haven't gotten a lot of information, out yet. And we're expected to get more June 2nd, so I wanted to get my 2 cents in on what I didn't want in the entire game, just out there so you guys know, before they announce either what I don't like, or they say that they're not going to do what I don't want, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with the video. Alright, so number 5 is inanimate object Pokemon. That's something that I don't think I want at all. Not to say that it can be done wrong, but generally I don't want it. And I'm not talking about like dumb stuff, like I don't want Charizard, you know what I mean? Like a stupid inanimate object Pokemon, or Kristen Stewart's face, something based off of something inanimate. But I want, like, it can be done right, but I don't know. Like, I found this design for the Pokemon. It's called Scurv Key. You could try to find it on Google. It's like a treasure chest pirate thing. It looks really, really cool. I think that's a design done right, and I think potentially, I don't think Pokemon should copy that, but I think that they should do one that is, of course, done right. Then I would use it, but probably looking at all the other ones that we've gotten in the past, I don't think that I would use it, because I am not a big fan of inanimate object Pokemon. There's a few I like, but not entirely on board with the idea. So yeah, that's number 5. And number 4 will be Burst Heart. Now, if you guys don't know what Burst Heart is, it's essentially something where it allows you to fuse with your Pokemon, if that makes any sense. So where it came from is there's a manga series called Pokemon Rebirth, and that's like a spin-off manga that's not canon in any way. And essentially every trainer in that, instead of using Pokemon normally, they actually fuse with their Pokemon. Like you can see right here, there's one of a guy, I think it's the main character, fusing with Zekrom. That's what they do instead for battling. And a big theory going on right now, and it makes a lot of sense, is in the new Volcanion Magearna movie. I don't think it's come out yet. I don't know. Everyone thinks that Ash and Greninja will fuse to make Ash Greninja, the Ash Greninja that we already saw, through the Burst Heart. I don't like this idea at all. I'm hoping that it's not like Mega Evolution, where like it's implemented, but Mega Evolution was actually kind of cool. I don't like this idea at all. I do not want this idea forced upon me, and I don't want it to be crazy optimal to a point where it's used in like every Wi-Fi battle like Mega Evolutions. So if I do Wi-Fi battle, I don't want to have to use it. It will be heavily avoided. I definitely don't want Burst Heart at all. I will not use it. I don't mind seeing it if I played against it, as long as it's balanced and I can play a team without it, like Mega Evolution, where I can play without a Mega and still beat someone who has one, just from purely outplaying them or having better Pokemon in that slot instead. So, yeah, that's my number 4. I just don't like Burst Heart. Alright, my number 3 is a lack of new legendaries. That is something I definitely don't want. Now, every single Pokemon generation, besides Generation 6, has a trio of legendaries. And by that, I mean, like, sure, they have, well, the first generation doesn't have cover legendaries, but they have Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. That's their trio. Then Gen 2 has Raikou, Suicune, and Entei. They're not cover legendaries, they're just their own trio. You got Regirock, Regice, Registeel, all 3 Regis in the 3rd generation, so they all have trios. And even in the 4th and 5th generation, in the 4th generation we have the Lake Trio, which is Uxie, Azelf, and Mesprit. And in the 5th generation we have a bunch of different trios actually, but probably my favorite one of that is the Musketeer trio of Terrakion, Virizion, and Cobalion. We have a whole lot of trios, extra legendaries. Now in X and Y we only got 3 new legendaries in the base game. We got Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde. We only got 3 legendaries, which when you really think about it, it's kind of insane, because you only got the 2 cover legendaries and 1 extra. And now we do have event legendaries coming. I don't think all of them have been released yet, but we have Volcanion, Hoopa, and Diancie. I know everyone has Diancie, and that also has a Mega Evolution, but I don't think Volcanion's been released yet, and I think Hoopa was just recently released. I don't really count that as a legendary Pokemon in my game. I don't count that because you can't catch them. They're just handed to you. That's kind of boring. Even if it was like a Deoxys where you get handed the ticket to go catch Deoxys, that's a little bit better than having it just handed to you. I don't really count that as a legendary Pokemon. Again, that's not a deal breaker to me. I'll still play through the game regardless if that exists or not. I'll just be disappointed because when I finish the game, there's not going to be a whole slew of legendaries to catch or anything fun or anything new and exciting, crazy cool Uber Pokemon. Nothing like that. I don't really play Ubers like anyway, but I just like having the legendary Pokemon in my box. It's just a fun thing. They're almost like trophies, but I just love having them. So yeah, that's my number 3. I just want as many legendary, not as many legendary Pokemon as possible, but a good amount, maybe like 6 or 7 new ones. Okay, number 2 is very little post-game. It's something I definitely don't want. Now, when you look at X and Y, and I know I seem like I'm picking on X and Y constantly, you have almost nothing to do after you complete the Elite Four. You have the Looker missions, which seems cool because they do last a little bit of time. They don't take too long. You can do them all in a day easily. But they are a good time waster, I guess, but all you really get from them is the Sushi High Roller restaurant, which is notoriously probably the least useful restaurant in all of X and Y, because the restaurants allow you to gather items that you can sell for lots of money and just prize money in general, and the only way to profit off of the Sushi High Roller restaurant is to go in with amulet coins and max money, O powers, and I think also luck incense to actually profit. So it's not amazing. It's a very useless restaurant, and it costs $500,000. You already have to have $500,000 to even get in the place and try to make the money. So that's kind of useless. And the other thing you have is the Battle Maison, but that's basically like a battle tower. Like you get the Battle Resort in Diamond and Pearl. That's a new generation game. That's not like one of the other ones that have extra post-game added in them because they're remakes. It's an actual legitimate one. It has the Battle Zone that has a lot of different things. Like you can get special ribbons for your Pokemon after completing all the contests. You can do a whole slew of things, catch all these new Pokemon, and you get a battle tower, which X and Y, that's basically what Battle Maison is. So X and Y didn't have a lot to do. And then you can compare that to Generation 2, or my personal favorites, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but still Generation 2. You had an entire region attached to it. Maybe it was the previous one, and everyone probably already played it, but you had an entire region attached to your game. That's amazing. That's 16 gym badges, and you have probably the most iconic Pokemon game battle of all time, which is against the Trainer Red. That is probably the greatest moment in Pokemon of all time, climbing up to the tower and seeing Red and going, oh my goodness, this is basically Ash from the show. Or if you weren't into the show, this is me from the previous game, from the one I just played. This is me from Pokemon Yellow. That's insane. It's mind-blowing. It's the coolest thing, and I think that that's just all the post-game. I think the post-game's so important, and I think that Sun and Moon needs to have a decent-sized post-game. I think that they could maybe, because they have a lot of islands on Hawaii, I think that, or in Hawaii, because it's a slew of islands, I think that they could set one aside that they don't use for gyms or traveling, because I think that everyone's going to be able to travel between the islands. I think that they should make one post-game island with like 4 or 5 towns and a bunch of different things to do, and maybe like a battle tower or battle frontier. I think that's what they should do. I think that it needs post-game, so yeah, that's my number 2. Now, my number 1 complaint, my number 1 gripe, the number 1 thing I do not want in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It'll leave a bad taste in my mouth. It'll make me not like this generation, because I like the Pokemon in 6th gen. I like most of them, but here's the problem. There's very little Pokemon in the entire thing. There's, I think, like a 60, 70, or 69 Pokemon or something like that. Or there's 68 Pokemon, 3 Event Trio Pokemon, added onto that if you count them, and then 48 megas. So there's 71 Pokemon total and 48 mega evolutions. That's 119 Pokemon total if you count the mega evolutions, which seems large, but if you're like me and you don't count mega evolutions, you only got 71 new ones. Because mega evolutions, you can't have a whole team of them. I know that would be imbalanced, but it's not like a whole new team of Pokemon or a new evolution you can run through the game with and make a part of your team. That's one of my favorite parts about Pokemon. Not just the Wi-Fi battling and the cool little mega evolutions and all these things. I like the growing with my team and just winning the game and using them and making these Pokemon my favorite just because how well they did on my team. That's such an important factor to me, and having so little Pokemon I can actually utilize to a point where you had to grab from other generations is just like disheartening. I hate that. And it's not like I hate all 6th gen Pokemon. Like, I love Pyroar, I love Doublade, and then I already have my personal favorite Pokemon from 6th gen, which is Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. So yeah, I just love 6th gen Pokemon. There's just so little. And when I look at the Alola starters, the new starters for Pokemon Sun and Moon, I see a bright future ahead of us. I don't see this coming. I don't see very little Pokemon coming because of how well thought out and well designed these Pokemon are. They look great. I mean, look at Rowlet's bow tie. He's adorable. Or friggin' Litten's so cool. I even like Poplio. I hated it at first. Totally grew on me. Hate clowns. Biggest fear, love Poplio. I can just see just a bright future ahead of us. I can see all of this. It's going to be great. We're going to have a bunch of Pokemon. I'm just crossing my fingers that they don't do the 6th gen thing and rely on new Mega Evolutions or Burst Heart like I talked about earlier, because that would totally suck. So yeah, that's number 1. Alright, so guys, that was my first ever top 5 list. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what things you don't want in Sun and Moon. I mean, I already told you mine. Now I really do want to hear yours, because I mean, it's a big thing for the Pokemon community to have a brand new game coming out. That's just, it's great. Essentially, since we went a full year without a new one after ORAS, we didn't get a remake, we didn't get a Pokemon Z, we didn't get anything. We've been waiting, and Game Freak has had 2 years to work on this game, so I think it's going to be amazing. But I do want to know in the comments what you guys don't want. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, because sharing means caring. It's your boy Togablaze out. Peace.